How is that working out for them? That the file is leaked and it's all over the internet. The file is leaked.
Well, their integrity is shot. Now, honestly, if I was a member of this community, if I was a Joe Schmo, I would question every report that Gene Maya signed off on. I would question what Bruce Safinsky is teaching his deaf students. I mean, if he can't read what somebody is saying in the car, I wonder if he's teaching them the right thing. He's supposedly a professor down in Richmond.
I'll tell you what's really disturbing in this whole entire case is your digital forensic is telling you this dash camera does have audio. I want to go over this video.
Yeah, let's go into
do me a
this
favor.
audio.
If you go over to exhibits, I want to play. This is Officer Kathy Zymuth. We're going to watch this video. We're going to look at this document, and then we're going to dive into the testimony, the audio testimony, where she tells Judge Carol Weimer that this dash camera does have audio.
Let's get into it.
My name is Katie Zamus. My name is Katie Zamus. I'm a detective in digital forensics on the Prince William County Police Department.
This is a document in the Mustafa Aljazair case where Officer Zymuth. By the time we're done with her, she's going to be like some kind of
a Greek mythological
creature. This is a document that was put into Mustafa Aljazair case on April 24, 2023. Officer Zymuth says, although the last several videos recorded on the device did not appear to have sound, the sound record feature on the device was turned on, which showed that the file did have an audio track. Now, would this surprise you to hear? She says, I mean...
look at what she says on the stand. She says she had to Google how this dash camera
So you're
works.
telling me that you've been dealing with...
Let me tell Zymuth something that maybe could help her in digital forensics. Did you know that Rexing has an app that you could download?
She never opened it in the app, by the way.
Rexing has a player called Rexing Player, where you plug this dash camera into the computer, you open up the Rexing Player for the Rexing camera, and you download the videos through the Rexing app. She's sitting here opening it with VLC, Audacity, other I could have told you.
By the way,
I could have told you. You could have done the easiest Google search. The first thing that would have popped up: Rexing Player, Rexing Video Player. Rexing is a very famous company. By the way, a
famous company. If you were to buy a dash camera, you can go to your local Best Buy, and this dash camera is just about $500.
This is not like Chinese crap. This is like American made.
You're not getting it off of Amazon. You're getting it at your local Best Buy. It's almost a $500 dash camera.
Headquarters is in New Jersey.
So for a digital forensic to say that
she had to Google.
I had to Google. I don't know. I mean, this is a well-known dash camera.
You could have just went to Rexing.com and then went under software and downloaded the player. How hard is that? But you're the expert.
Okay, so
Kathy is the expert.
Kathy is the expert. I mean, chain of custody. We'll go back to the chain of custody. Department policy. When you find a dash camera, you take the dash camera, chain of custody, you give it to digital forensic. Digital forensic is
why would you give it to digital forensics?
To protect the integrity of the dash camera, the files. Okay, what you do, you copy and mirror the files.
You mean to tell me that officers that show up to a scene, they don't just take digital evidence and plug it into their own phone, into their laptop?
Apparently, that's what Chad Mason did.
They don't take it home and start messing around with it?
And he testified this to on the stand to Judge Carol Weimer, and Judge Carol Weimer is entertaining it.
By the way, what Chad Mason did on April 5th is the equivalent of saying, I took Mustafa's dash cam home, plugged it into my computers, my laptops, I messed around with it, and then came back 2 days later and just put it back in the car. That's the equivalent. That's called tampering with evidence, okay? There's a reason why police departments have policies and procedures that you follow. in the case where someone does go to trial, you want the integrity of the evidence protected.
Mohammed, the problem here is this dash camera today. The Commonwealth attorney is telling you it doesn't have audio. It stops before impact. It has 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. That's the problem here.
I mean, the next thing I want to hear is the dash camera has a mind of its own. And that day it was tired. It was tired. It wasn't feeling so well. And it said, you know what? Today I'm not going to record audio. And if I get in a car accident, I think I'm just going to close my eyes before the accident.
Mohammed, I ran into a good friend of Mustafa just the other day. And he asked me, what does that mean? That the dash camera cuts off before impact. So I think it's, instead of just saying that, for those that are not tracking what I'm talking about, let's play the dash camera. I mean, what Chad Mason did, I mean, he testified that he violated department policy. That despite of the chain of custody, he didn't follow the chain of custody. That when Zymus got this dash camera, apparently Chad Mason already uploaded the files to evidence to the department server, to the police department server. So what's the point of going through the chain of custody? What's the point of Zymus talking about I copied and mirrored to protect the integrity of this dash camera? There's no point. Because Chad Mason took possession of the files, downloaded the files, sat on them for 2 days, then got a warrant 2 days later, and now you have a dash camera that's cut before impact, has no audio, and it has 17 frames missing. Mohammed, if you do me a favor, if you go over to exhibits.
I just want to say this. We just saw that document where she says she opened it in VLC, she opened it in Audacity, she opened it in another program. Look, if digital forensics can't seem to open this dash camera right, and this is digital forensics. I mean, this is like, at Prince William County, this is like, Kathy Zymus is top of the line when it comes to digital evidence. If she can't get it right, you think Chad Mason did it right on his laptop?
That's a very good point. I mean, the question here is,
if she can't get it right, and this is the expert.
The question here is, Judge Carol Weimer is listening to Officer Chad Mason tell him, I cut and muted this dash camera.
He tampered with the evidence.
I mean, he's flat out telling him.
Okay. I
mean, today you have a dash camera that has no audio and is cut before impact. And you have an officer that's telling him, I violated department policy. Wouldn't you think? And then you have another officer that's telling him, absolutely, this dash camera does have audio. As a judge, when Mustafa's defense attorney puts in a motion to hire an independent expert to go in and inspect the SD card that Officer Zymus says it has audio, wouldn't you think, as a judge that's impartial in this case, would be letting that motion go forward? Instead, you have Judge Carol Weimer wants to block this motion, and he tells him, can we hear this in October? What do you mean? You have a guy that's sitting in solitary confinement for the past 2.5 years, and you're hearing testimonies of officer telling you, we tampered with Mustafa's dash camera.
If I didn't know any better, I would say that judge is covering up for the officer.
For 2.5 years, evidence showed that they crushed and staged Mustafa's car, tampered with the dash camera, weaponized the children. I mean, we're sitting here. The whole entire podcast is about Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. There is home videos that are going up on the internet that show what prosecutor Sarah Sammy says about Mustafa, that Mustafa is abusive to the children, abusive to Dorothy. The Google Nest video show otherwise. It shows it's a beautiful relationship. And this judge is protecting the police department, is protecting the prosecutor, who's clearly lying about Mustafa. He's blocking the motion from going forward. How does that make any sense? You want to tell me Judge Carol Weimer is impartial in the Mustafa Aljazair case when he's blocking the SD card on this dash camera to be inspected by an independent expert?
Sounds like he's got his hands in the cookie jar.
Brad Haywood? Brad Haywood is... Why does Brad Haywood have to fight to get the SD card? Shouldn't he be able to go down to the prosecutor office and tell her...
just get the SD card without a motion?
I mean, does this prosecutor not want to get to the bottom of this case? What
course
is
not.
she so terrified that? Why is she so terrified from the audio?
Because the moment the audio comes out from this dash camera, the prosecutor's a liar, the police lied, and you've been holding a man in solitary confinement for 2.5 years over lies. When Amy Ashworth, from day one, could have hired an IT expert to get this audio. I mean, your own IT expert is telling you there's audio. By the way, you don't have to hire an expert.
I find it really.
You don't have to hire an expert. Kathy Zimas says there's audio. All you have to do is bring in Kathy Zimas and say, go ahead and download these videos again with the audio this time and put them on the server. That's all she had to do, was ask Zimas to re-upload the videos, not from Chad Mason's laptop, but from digital forensics. But now the problem is Chad Mason had already gone in, and we're going to find out what he did to that dash camera. The metadata is going to show what exactly Chad Mason did. Because, you know, when you tamper a file, when you play with a file, it tells you when the file was, you know, date last
You're talking
modified.
about the metadata. And
There's
on the
more
SD
data
card.
that an IT expert can get than, you know, the basic info. But it'll tell you this file was,
That's what they're terrified from.
and, you know, I'll say one other thing about this dash camera. I find it really, really interesting that the primary investigator on this case, who's Robert Drum, he checks out this dash camera on April 19th, and there's a body cam of him calling Rexing. And nowhere in his report, nowhere in his body cams, does he ever question why this dash cam does not have audio.
Because they already have the audio.
Isn't that, you don't find that weird?
I mean, you have the main investigator.
He's calling Rexing, and he's not asking, hey, how do I get the audio to this thing?
Instead, what he's asking
He's not
for,
even curious.
is it possible that anyone can have access to this dash camera through the clouds?
That's what he's asking.
He's worried that the family on the outside may
gonna get a
have
copy of
access, may be able to access the dash camera through the clouds.
Think about it like this. Why would that be of interest to him?
And not the audio.
Think about it. Okay, he has the physical camera. He has the SD card. So you have the files. You're not looking for the files, that's for sure. You're definitely not looking for the files because you have the camera. Why are you so invested in finding out whether this camera transmitted the files to a cloud? And can the family get it?
Because his police officer, Chad Mason, cut and muted the dash camera. And now they're terrified.